Chapter 3 will introduce you to the foundations of the market systems. In particular, you will explore the law of demand and the law of supply and how those two laws interact with each other. Essentially, the market system is a way that we will answer several different questions, that being who will produce what, how will they produce those things, and for whom will they produce those things? Adam Smith, often called the father of modern-day economic thought, believes that the market system was guided by an invisible hand, the idea being that there was no central mechanism that coordinated all of our choices and decisions, that the market just engaged with itself and coordinated itself as though there were an invisible hand guiding it. The first thing we'll begin to explore is the law of demand, which simply says that as the price of a product decreases, the quantity demanded increases. And it also works the other way. As the price of a product increases, the quantity demanded decreases. Now you'll notice that I've put special emphasis on the phrase quantity demanded. There is a difference between the word demand and the words quantity demanded. They represent two different concepts. Essentially, demand is a function relating all the different prices and quantity demanded that go for a particular good or service. So for example, in this chart, if the price of a toy were $10, the quantity demanded would be 400,000 toys per year. If the price increases to $80, the quantity demanded will decrease to 50,000 toys per year. The word demand refers to the entire function, the entire relationship between all the different prices and quantities. The phrase quantity demanded simply means one particular price and one particular quantity. So there are a variety of things that influence our demand for products. And in the chapter, you will explore these variety of influencing factors: the number of consumers, tastes and preferences, income, prices of other goods and services, and expectation of future prices. If any of these things change, then the entire function will change also. It will shift. But if all that changes is the price of the good, then we will simply be moving from one point to another point on the demand curve. The law of supply works similarly. It says that as the price of a product rises, the quantity supplied also goes up. And it works in reverse. As the price of a product decreases, the quantity supplied also decreases. Essentially, what this means is that as the price of a product goes up, businesses are more willing to sell those items. They would like to sell as many of them as they could. And again, there's a difference between the word supply and the phrase quantity supplied. Supply refers to an entire function, the relationship between all the prices and quantities. Quantity supplied simply means one point on that function. So for example, if the price were $10, we'd only have 100,000 toys put on the shelf. As the price rises, we get businesses that desire to put more on the shelf. Now notice this is not saying that they're selling more, it just says they would like to sell more. So supply is the entire function made up of all of the different prices and all the different quantities. So if I were to say that the price of toys rises from 30 to 40, we don't say that supply increases, we say quantity supplied increases. We go from 200 units to 250 units per year. And again, there are a variety of things that will influence the supply. They will shift the entire function. Number of suppliers, prices of inputs, prices of related products in production, expectations, and technology and taxes. Each one of those things, if they change, that will give you an entirely different supply function. But if all I do is I change the price of a good, then it's the quantity supplied that changes, not the function. I just go from one point to another point. Now, when I put the two of them together, I get the market system. And so when we graph supply and demand, you will notice that there is a point at which supply and demand intersect each other. And that's a special point called an equilibrium. And at the equilibrium, we tend to say that the market clears. What that means in this example, if the price is 40, that means there's 250,000 toys demanded, and there's 250,000 toys on the shelf. It means that nobody wants any more at that price and can't get it, and businesses don't have any left over that they're not able to sell at that price. Exactly the same number was, the quantity was demanded was also the same as quantity supplied. Now, if the price is something different, then you get a case where you're not in equilibrium. So let's say the price of the toy was $70. At the price of 70, there's 400,000 toys on the shelf. The businesses would really like to sell these toys at a price of 70. But at a price of 70, there's only 100,000 toys being demanded. So what we end up with is a surplus. There's too many toys on the shelf at that price. The only way to get rid of the surplus is to lower the price. When you lower the price down to 40, the surplus disappears. So that's oftentimes why businesses will put things for sale. They're trying to get rid of inventory, maybe. They have too many items on the shelf, and they've got to lower the prices in order to clear the shelf off. Now, if the price is too low, then we have a different scenario. For example, in this case, if the price was $10, a lot of people would desire to purchase the toy at $10. It looks like 375 people would desire to buy the toy, but the businesses don't really want to put that many toys on the shelf. They're not going to make any profit if the price is only $10. So they'll put a few on the shelf, but they will definitely not be able to put 375,000 on the shelf because they wouldn't make any profit. So in this case, we have a shortage. The quantity demanded is greater than the quantity supplied. The only way to get rid of a shortage is to raise the price. If you raise the price to 40, then the market will clear. So again, what we have is a system in which the law of demand creates a demand function. The law of supply creates a supply function. At different prices, you have different quantity demandeds and different quantities that are supplied. When the quantity demanded and quantity supplied are equal, that price is called the equilibrium price. And there's an equilibrium quantity, and the market clears. If the price is too high, you have a surplus, and they have to lower the price to get rid of the surplus. If the price is too low, you have a shortage, and the only way to get rid of a shortage is to raise the price. So these are the basic fundamentals of the law of demand and the law of supply.